Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Suja, and I'm a graduate from the Juris Doctor program of the School of Law.
And I'm Desiree, also a graduate from the School of Law, the Undergraduate program. Together, the two of us will be your MCs for our graduation ceremony today. As our session will begin very shortly, may we request that all mobile phones and beeping devices be turned off or switched to the silent mode.
Also, please remain seated throughout the ceremony, except when the national anthem is being played.
We request that you do not use flash photography during the ceremony, as doing so will risk overexposing the photographs taken by our professional photographers.
And now, please welcome the Grand Processional. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore.
Singapura.
seated. Thank you.
Our guest of honor, the Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, Judge of Appeal, SMU President Professor Arnaud de Meyer, senior management and faculty, parents and loved ones, the graduating class of 2012 for the School of Law, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the finale of a long but exciting story started some years ago by all of us graduates. Today, we celebrate the closing chapter of our SMU story.
As we turn the pages of the book of our SMU life, let us recall the choices we made, relive our days of wine and quizzes, review our triumphs, and regret our losses, remember our friendships, and renew our bond with our university and with each other.
We may wonder at how some gangly, wide-eyed youths of yesteryear have morphed into the confident movers and shakers of tomorrow that we see sitting here amongst us today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the current chief writer of the SMU story, the president of our university, Professor Arnaud de Meyer.
Our guest of honor, the Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, Judge of Appeal, Professor Yo Chong-Ming, Dean of the School of Law, distinguished guests, colleagues, family members, and most important of all, of course, the members of the class of 2012, be it undergraduate or graduate. Good evening from my side and most welcome to this commencement ceremony. It's indeed a very great pleasure for me to be here to share the joy of our School of Law graduates and their families. For you graduates, it is a significant moment because one of what I guess was an exhilarating period in your life is ending, and potentially an even far more exciting adventure is beginning. What you achieved so far is great. But your professional life will be probably at least twice as long as what we have done until now. So what starts today is probably a double charge or a double load of what you have done until now. That's the reason, by the way, why we call this ceremony a commencement. It's the beginning of something new. And I hope that today we can say that what you're going to start tomorrow, that next 40 years of a professional life and probably even more, I hope that it will be successful, and it deserves perhaps a little bit of celebration today also. Just 4 years ago, you were sitting in a gathering just like this, albeit without these gowns and mortarboards, at what was the Convocation 2008, after you went through the freshman team building camp, of which you saw a bit of video footage a few seconds ago. Even though SMU's rigorous admissions process with interviews favors the more dynamic and confident applicants, I'm sure that you were all far more timid and unsure of yourselves than you are today. In fact, I'm sure about it because I had the privilege to go a week ago to the freshman team building camp of this year's freshmen, and they look very different. How did you say it again? Less mature and less refined? Is that the way it was described? As many of you have mentioned to me and your dean, SMU has helped to create a more confident and articulate you with, I hope, a deep-rooted sense of ethics and social responsibility. I'm sure that you will all agree with me that SMU has been for you a truly transformational experience. Your journey through SMU will have given you many valuable opportunities, and I trust that you made good use of them to give yourself an enriching experience. You had the chance to see and know the world, as global exposure is a hallmark of the SMU education. Many of you spent a semester in a partner university for overseas exchange, and you have also experienced overseas internships, community service projects, business study missions, and taken part in overseas cultural programs and core curricular activities. I hope that really during your time with us, you seized the opportunities to learn, to experience, and to give back. But I hope that that learning experience will not stop today. In fact, again, as a commencement, what starts today is a life of learning. What you've learned yesterday may not be true anymore tomorrow, and you need to have the capacity to unlearn and constantly relearn, improve yourself. I also hope that over the years you will be able to transform some of that knowledge that we shared with you and some of that that experience that you had with us, that you will be able to transform that into wisdom. Now it's an opportunity also for me to look at this other side of the room and look at the parents, the siblings, the grandparents, the relatives, the boys and the girls' friends that are present here. You have played also a very crucial role in these graduates' journey and in their achievement today, and you should be proud of it, and I congratulate for what you have done. It may not always have been easy, because I hear from some students that they stay very long at SMU, come home very late, and then probably have to sleep a little bit longer so that you don't see them in the morning when you have to go to work. I believe even that sometimes they didn't even go home. I can assure you that most of them, most of the time, were working very hard. But as I said, you should be proud of them, and when you later see your daughter or son or boyfriend or girlfriend or granddaughter or grandson getting that scroll, you will see there a very good return on investment. I hope so. With commencement, our graduates will also join the ranks of nearly 10,000 alumni. We're still a very young university. This is the 8th commencement for the university and only the 2nd for the School of Law. But we already have something more than 10,000 alumni out there that carry the flag and actually share the values of SMU with their peers. I do encourage you as alumni of SMU to stay connected with one another and with the school. The friendships you have formed and nurtured here will be with you for a very long time to come. And I also want to thank specifically all of you who have kept up the SMU tradition of contributing collectively to a graduating class scholarship. The level of giving for a young university like ours is truly unprecedented. Your contributions will enable needy students in the future to enjoy the SMU education and the SMU experience you have had. We truly appreciate your generosity. Now, while every batch of our graduates has enjoyed 100% or close to 100% employment, and this is not only for the School of Law but for the whole of the university, we wouldn't have done our job if the world you step into doesn't benefit from what you bring to it in terms of professional capabilities, but also in terms of values. I urge you, all of you, to carry our circle values of commitment, integrity, responsibility, collegiality, leadership, and above all, excellence in whatever you do, to carry those values with you wherever you go. Because these values are really an integral part of what SMU's holistic approach to education is all about. We've always emphasized not only the training of our graduates intellectually, but also the nurturing of graduates with a heart. Therefore, each year at the commencement ceremony, the university recognizes students who have embraced these values with Circle Awards. These Circle Awards were handed out yesterday when we had the opening ceremony chaired by our Chancellor. The winners have been actively involved in serving and giving back to SMU and the community at large. They have demonstrated leadership abilities, are upright in character, and are very well respected by their peers, by the staff, and by the faculty. They are really role models for future generations of students. And I'm sure that you will be aware that your School of Law peers, Lau Wenjin and Nathaniel Lim Yao Hui, both received Circle Awards this year in recognition of their good character and remarkable deeds. And although they were celebrated yesterday, I would like to ask a little applause to congratulate him for these Circle Awards. I'm also very thankful that today we have as guest of honor here this evening Justice Andrew Pang Boon Leong, Judge of Appeal at the Supreme Court of Singapore, who will be addressing us shortly when we actually have seen another short video. It's difficult for me to introduce him because I think he knows more about the university than I do. He received his LLB from the University of Singapore and his LLM and SJD from Harvard University. He was admitted as an advocate and solicitor in Singapore in 1990. He taught at NUS Law Faculty from 1982 to 2000 and was appointed Professor of Law in 1999. However, in 2000, he was appointed Professor of Law here at SMU and made chair of the Department of Law at the Lee Kong Chiang School of Business the following year. He has published widely, and his many publications include the local edition of Cheshire, 5-Foot and Firmstone's Law of Contract. He's also general editor of, as well as contributor to, the Law of Contract in Singapore. Justice Pang was appointed Senior Counsel in 2004, Judicial Commissioner and Judge in 2005, and Judge of Appeal in 2006. And I'm very grateful to him that he is attending this ceremony and also will give us a special speech, the guest of honor, as guest of honor this evening. I also know that his heart is still very close to the School of Law at SMU, and I thank him for that. Now, before I leave this rostrum, I just have one more thing to say to you. I really am proud of what the SMU students have achieved, and I hope that that pride can keep on existing when I see you evolving in the professional world. Therefore, tonight, I give you my warmest congratulations, my most heartfelt congratulations, but I also wish you very well on your professional and personal path in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor De Meyer, for your inspiring preface.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard about the SMU story, but it won't be complete without a bunch of brave and intrepid characters. And what a courageous cohort we have here today.
To choose this David of a startup university against the then dominant Goliaths in tertiary education, what bravery!
What risk-taking!
What were we thinking?
Well, let's hear from the horses' mouths.
My story began when I was attracted to the new environment that SMU could offer.
Honestly, I was pretty clueless what I wanted to do in my life, but then I guess SMU offered me a dynamic environment for me to discover myself.
I had heard a lot about SMU being a very different school, about the many opportunities on offer, so SMU was my first choice.
Well, it was between NTU Men's Comm and SMU. Funnily enough, I didn't consider NUS even though it was nearest to my house.
SMU was the only uni to make me go through an interview, and I felt that they were more serious in getting to know me.
It seemed like the happening place to be. I didn't want to stay cooped up, studying in a classroom. I wanted to have a life.
I remember SMU's marketing collaterals and ads were a lot more attractive than NTU or NUS.
I went online to check out the CCAs that SMU had to offer, and when I stumbled across some videos of Caderas Latinas, that really motivated me to join SMU.
SMU represented the ideal change agent I was looking for.
Coming from a not-so-well-to-do family, I needed a scholarship.
After I finished my high school in Myanmar, I chose to come to Singapore.
I left Vietnam for better education and to experience a multicultural environment.
My story with SMU began with an earthquake that broke all the international cables and killed my applications to American colleges. But I didn't give up. That's when SMU came to my rescue.
I was curious to find out if law was the right route for me.
Well, I was originally intending to do computer science at NUS, but my father convinced me to apply for SMU.
I don't like to be taught in a huge lecture theatre. That's why I chose SMU.
I chose SMU because of its location, its crazy student life, as well as its top-tier international exchange opportunities.
During my NS days, I found out more about SMU, and I think because of its small class size, it's actually better for me.
Choosing between NTU and SMU was a no-brainer. My seniors spoke very highly of SMU.
So, Desiree, do you remember why you chose SMU?
Of course. Well, I enjoyed the vibrancy of studying in the city campus. What about you, Suja?
Well, it was because the Juris Doctor is an exclusively postgraduate class. And I felt that I would learn a lot, not just from my professors, but also from my classmates who come from different professions. Plus, it's more fun to get drunk with people your own age.
That I agree with.
Moving on, here's someone who's chosen to contribute to our story today. Please welcome our guest of honor, the Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, Judge of Appeal.
Professor Arnold Dimaya, President of the Singapore Management University, Professor Yeo Tiao Min, Dean of the School of Law, Singapore Management University, distinguished guests, family members, and members of the class of 2012. It is a great honor and privilege to have this opportunity to address only the second cohort of students to have graduated from the SMU School of Law. A myriad of opportunities await you, whether it be in law practice, the legal service, academia, or even fields outside the law. Indeed, as you know, many local law graduates have also made their mark in other fields of endeavor as well, including banking and finance, food and beverage, and theater, to name but a few. Now, what I wish to speak about this evening applies, in my view, not only to the practice of law, but also to any field you wish to embark upon. And it centers on the letter I. Indeed, I begin with the first I, and this I is the reference to oneself. Unfortunately, much of the world today is centered on oneself, I, and related words such as me and my. This is the essence of what we refer to as individualism. There is nothing wrong with individualism as such. After all, we are all unique individuals, and each of us is different. However, we do not function only as individuals. We live and interact in a community, indeed in different communities, the chief of which consists of the home and the workplace. Put simply, our relationships are no less important than our individual identities. Indeed, we grow and develop as individuals, in large part because of our relationships. Might I therefore suggest another word beginning with the letter I, which, when integrated with individualism, makes us better persons, and, may I venture to suggest, gives meaning to all that we say and do. And that word is ideals. When I first began teaching as a young lecturer 3 decades ago, I was astonished, even then, at the materialism as well as skepticism I found, at least among some students. Unfortunately, I do not think that things have improved significantly today. But it is precisely this corrosive acid of materialism and skepticism that will not only disempower us, but will also breed even more negativity as well as despair in what would become a vicious cycle. On a personal level, I refuse to give up. I truly believe that if you give ideals a sincere try, you will succeed. This does not, however, mean that you will have a trouble-free life. Life remains the same. It will produce its share of troubles and difficulties. However, how we respond to these troubles and difficulties is the key to a meaningful life. To this end, ideals are, in my view, imperative. And I will point to at least 5 specific ideals, each coincidentally also starting with the letter I. I rarely read from a script. I'm not used to it, but you'll notice from this, if I may ad-lib for a moment, that this makes it easier for everyone to remember what I'm saying. And so today, everything actually focuses on the letter I. And the first ideal is the ideal of intellect. I assume that by your very presence here today, all of you, the graduates, already possess this quality, and I can therefore pass on very quickly to the next ideal. The second ideal is the ideal of industry. There can be no success without diligence and sheer hard work. Indeed, those of you who are more talented must work just as hard, if not harder. But industry is something which we are all familiar with. You need no persuading that this ideal is important. So I will proceed to the next ideal. However, before doing so, I should emphasize that industry is only the starting point and is not confined to book learning only. The third ideal is the ideal of insight. By insight, I refer to the wisdom with which you apply the knowledge you have acquired. It also includes what we term common sense. A person may be very knowledgeable, but may lack wisdom, thus becoming very proud and arrogant in the process. A wise person, on the other hand, is almost invariably also humble by nature. The fourth ideal is the ideal of integrity. This is an ideal which we take for granted. Indeed, it is often paid mere lip service, and we do not appreciate how absolutely essential it is. Hence, we often rationalize away unethical conduct without realizing that it diminishes us as persons as a result. The ideal of integrity is not all that easy to observe, for it may, on occasion at least, require us to sacrifice benefits and advantages which would otherwise have accrued to us. But by living our lives with integrity, we develop our character and consequently our reputations. And all this will stand us in good stead, not only in our daily lives, but also in our work as well. The fifth and final ideal I want to touch on this evening is the ideal of identification. In a world of unbridled individualism, selfishness will be the natural consequence. This also means that we will then and often not bother to look at a given situation from the other person's perspective, only our own. This will not only lead to a lack of empathy, but will also prevent one from engaging in a holistic analysis of a given situation, thus leading in all likelihood to errors in judgment. When I first read the book To Kill a Mockingbird 4 decades ago, the following advice from Atticus Finch to his daughter Scout impressed me so much that it has stayed with me ever since. And I quote, "First of all, if you can learn a simple trick, Scout, you'll get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You never really understand the person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. And it is not enough to pretend to do this, for that would be mere hypocrisy. Being a genuine person is admittedly risky because it renders one vulnerable to others. But such conduct is consistent with that other ideal which I've already mentioned, the ideal of integrity. As importantly, yet another ideal, that of insight, will, I believe, enable one to avoid, for the most part at least, the pitfalls that might otherwise result from practicing the ideal of identification. Now let me now briefly turn to the relevance of these 5 ideals in the context of the law. But I would just like to add first that if you observe and practice these ideals, you would be a better person as well as a better professional, regardless of your vocation. Returning to the discipline of law, as you know, the law does not comprise rules and principles for their own sake. These rules and principles guide, but they guide with an ultimate purpose. And that purpose is the attainment of justice and fairness in the case at hand. This is such a simple proposition that is virtually self-evident, yet it underlies the entire enterprise of the law itself. Nevertheless, the most obvious proposition, such as the one just referred to, is often forgotten and even undermined by selfish conduct. However, it is also often the case that such selfish conduct does not appear overnight. It is shaped and molded by the environment we operate in. And let us not put on blinkers. Let us acknowledge that life is tough and even harsh at times. It is very easy, I know as I stand here, it's very easy to state that ideals are important. But the question is this: can they be practiced in real life, especially when many persons appear to get ahead in life by practicing the precise opposite? To state that there are no easy answers is an understatement of the highest order. But let me attempt to give you a perspective, albeit admittedly a personal one. However, if it will prompt you to reflect on your own life as well as future, my modest presentation today will not have been in vain. As I alluded to earlier, the ideals of intellect and industry are taken as givens in society today and operate quite naturally within the context of each of our lives. However, the remaining ideals of insight, integrity, and identification are, on occasion at least, more difficult to practice. But practice them we must. There is no alternative. Our task as lawyers is not to win at all costs. We are merely asked to do the best we can, whether for our clients if we are practicing lawyers, or for our students if we are lecturers. If we do this, then win or lose, our consciences are clear, and we can be truly proud of the fact that we have attempted our level best to touch the lives concerned in that particular situation, whether it relates to a client or a student. Indeed, we can go further. There has been much talk about engaging in pro bono work. Many lawyers already do. In this regard, the following observations by John Adams, who was the second President of the United States of America, are particularly apposite. And I quote, "Now, to what higher object, to what greater character can any mortal aspire than to be possessed of all this knowledge, well digested and ready at command, to assist the feeble and friendless, to discountenance the haughty and lawless, to procure redress of wrongs, the advancement of right, to assert and maintain liberty and virtue, to discourage and abolish tyranny and vice." Although these observations did not emanate from a local personality as such, their words have a universality which we would do well to not only heed but also put into effect. Lest you think that this is impossible, remember this: nothing is impossible if you will only try and then persevere. But this also requires wisdom and common sense, which means simultaneously living a balanced life in which family is also given priority. Now, this issue of work-life balance is itself a large one, and I cannot, owing to the constraints of time, speak on it this evening. I will conclude by recalling a phrase which was much used when SMU first opened its doors. I should know. I was amongst the initial cohort of faculty at SMU. It went something like this: SMU is different. We were different, a fledgling university starting from scratch and seeking to research and lecture in our own style. It was difficult. Many of you, in fact all of you, cannot imagine how difficult it was. But it was simultaneously an exciting enterprise. Speaking for myself, I had no regrets taking that risk. Although I left for SMU for the bench many years ago, I can honestly say that the university has grown beyond what I could have imagined at the time I joined it. Be different. However, without action, this is a mere empty slogan at best. Practice it, and you will touch lives in ways that you can never imagine. May I take this opportunity to congratulate you and your loved ones today as you embark upon exciting adventures that are unique to you alone. You will experience both what the world may label as success as well as failure. But if you live a life full of ideals, you will always live a meaningful life which touches many other lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Pang.
I'm sure all of us are inspired by Judge Pang to go off and write our own adventures now. But some of us will surely be feeling a certain amount of trepidation on the threshold on our next chapter of life.
Well, fret not. Cliffhangers and suspense are all part of a good story. After all, didn't we feel like this too when we were just starting out at SMU? You don't remember anymore? Well, here's a reminder.
After early matriculation at the end of my NS, I was offered an opportunity to work at the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. This really opened my eyes to the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes every year.
My first point of contact with SMU were the camps. I was super excited to sign up for all the camps because I've always been a camp kind of person.
I went for 3 camps. All were very fun and different. My first impression came from my camp facilitators who were super friendly and answered every question about SMU.
I was quite a gung-ho first-year student. I joined 5 orientation camps, did a pageant.
Everybody was very enthusiastic and classes were very lively and vibrant. My first friends were made during social science camp, and till today we're still friends.
My first class was technology and world change, and I remember feeling really lost and alone because I didn't know anyone in class.
I was very overwhelmed initially because the overall learning environment was much more intense and competitive.
I wasn't accustomed to participating frequently in class, and I suddenly felt like I had to manage my own time.
My first class was in LTB. I was working in a group of 10 people, brainstorming for a project that had to create sustainable value for society. And it had to be executed in just 8 weeks.
My first test was definitely a harrowing experience. Taking a Stats 101 exam 3 years after the A-levels is not fun at all.
My very first test was Stat 151 by Professor Dennis Leong in week 3. Scared the hell out of all the freshmen.
I had so much fun that my grades actually suffered during my first year.
I remember thinking bleakly to myself, the next 5 years will be very challenging.
Well, to be honest, I was filled with apprehension.
I was a bit lost.
Language and culture were big barriers. The first class was fun, but I had to struggle with class part.
Everything was very new to me and all sorts of things were happening at the same time, but it was really fun to experience all these.
Singlish gave me quite some trouble, but being shameless, I keep trying. And I also made a lot of friends that also helped me a lot.
So, despite the doubts and fears we felt as freshmen, I think we turned out quite alright.
Yes, I'm sure your parents must be very proud of you, Desiree. Studying law has been a lot of hard work for all of us, and sometimes I just can't believe I'm finally graduating.
In fact, just to make sure, let's invite the dean of our school to come up on stage to tell us. It's really happening. Please welcome Professor Yeo Tiong Min.
Guest of Honor, the Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, Judge of Appeal, Professor Arnaud Dimaya, President of SMU, distinguished guests, colleagues, graduating class of 2012 and their family and loved ones, a very good evening to all of you. On behalf of the School of Law, I offer our warmest congratulations to the graduating class of 2012. Your hard work over the last few years has finally paid off. You are now ready to take the next steps to join a noble profession. It is a profession of service to the people, And your training here in SMU and the professional training that is to come will put you all in good stead. You may leave SMU physically, but you simply move to another branch of the SMU family. You will be in distinguished company. In case you don't already know, Justice Pang is an honorary alumnus of SMU. I hope that as part of the SMU alumni, you will continue to maintain links in one way or another with us. I wish you all the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. We will now invite you to present the postgraduate degrees. We would also like to invite Professor Jack Lee, our school reader, to come on stage as well.
Anil Narayan Balchandi. Chiu Xiang, summa cum laude, winner of the Rhodite Prize for Top Student in Corporate Law. Fong Wei Li, magna cum laude. Gerald Tan Han Jie, magna cum laude. Divya Prada Lada Aravindan. Deborah Leong Susan, cum laude. Melvin Loy Yuan Feng. Sashikala Raja Indiran, cum laude. Tham Kai Man. Timothy Stephen Mark, cum laude. Vidya Rianata, cum laude. Bertha Woon Ying Ying. Suja Susan Thomas, daughter of B. Thomas, summa cum laude.
Thank you, Dean and Professor Jack Lee. May we invite you to take your seats. We now invite Suja to say a few words on behalf of all postgraduates.
Guest of Honor, the Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, Judge of Appeal, SMU President Professor Arnott de Meyer, SMU President, distinguished guests, professors, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I have the honor of speaking on behalf of all the Juris Doctor students who are graduating this evening. For some of us, this is a second degree. Others are graduating for the third or even the fourth time. I know one person here who's attending her 5th commencement. 5 degrees or diplomas. Imagine that. I guess if it's true that a little learning is a dangerous thing, you just can't be too careful. Seriously, however, in today's rapidly changing workplace, it is often necessary to keep furthering our studies or to learn something new altogether. No matter how many courses we pursue, though, each commencement is always a special event. For the JDs, today marks the culmination of a period of intensive study, and we can take pride in having successfully juggled our many responsibilities. and in some cases overcome our aging bodies and minds in the pursuit of learning. It is the commencement of a new path in our lives, an exciting time, and one well worth celebrating. It is also a time when we remember with gratitude those who made our success possible. Pursuing the JD required many sacrifices, not just from us, but also from our family members and loved ones. Personally, I must say that it was the unstinting support of my family that helped to see me through. My mother and my husband took over my chores at home. When I had to study for exams, my teenage daughters helped their younger brother with homework, and I did not even need to bribe them. Speaking of the children, I'm often asked how I managed to complete my JD given that I have 3 kids. The fact is that my children have been my loudest cheerleaders. When the going got tough, they gave me spontaneous energy hugs and cheers of, "Go, Mum, go." And then there was the day when my 7-year-old son looked at me and said profoundly, "You know, Mum, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything." If any of you needs a motivational speaker, please let me know. I assure you his charges are reasonable. My fellow JDs, I'm sure that like me, you also owe a lot to those close to you. I am honored to have the chance to say on your behalf this evening a very big thank you to all of them for being our pillars of strength and our inspiration. Also crucial to our success has been the excellent teaching and guidance we have received from our faculty members at SMU. My JD class consisted of engineers, business professionals, accountants, public servants, journalists, teachers, and even a surgeon. Each of us came into the program with our own baggage, and I know that it was no easy task for our professors to get us to set aside our prior training, at least for a while, so that we could learn to think like lawyers instead. Thanks to our professors' untiring efforts, we will be joining the profession shortly as lawyers who can understand our clients' problems, both from a legal perspective and from the perspectives of our prior training and experience. On behalf of all the JD graduates present here today, I wish to thank our deans, past and present, our program director, our professors, and the administrative support staff in the School of Law for their dedication to our learning. We are grateful for your tireless support and hope to do you proud. Last but not least, we must not forget our JD classmates, that group of intelligent and idiosyncratic individuals with whom we have shared not only many hours of serious study, but also countless moments of mindless mirth. The JD journey is one that we will always remember, not least because of those who shared the road with us and helped to keep us going. To my fellow JDs, and also to my schoolmates graduating today with the LLB degree, I wish you all the best in your careers. May they be vibrant, exciting, and full of discoveries. Thank you.
One day, as I'm leaving ISIS, I saw a gentleman asking direction to go to business school, so I accompanied him there. When we arrived, he passed me his name card, and he turned out to be the managerial partner of McKinsey in Singapore, and he offered me an interview.
In my first ever term in SMU, I was so scared to participate in class, and I was in awe of all the seniors who seemed to be just like throwing up words of wisdom. And every time I had something I thought I could add on to the discussion, I would just nudge my senior friend next to me and be like, "Does this sound okay? Like, should I say this? Should I say this?"
I fell flat on my face in the middle of class, right in front of the professor, in finishing touch class.
The
first embarrassing thing that happened to me was during my microeconomics class in year 1, when I actually raised my hand to ask the professor for permission to go to the toilet.
We organized Divala Football, which is Singapore's largest women futsal event. I was just 19. I had absolutely no idea how to organize such a huge event, but we did it.
One of the most meaningful experiences I've had was being part of the group of students who founded the SMU Chinese Orchestra. We started with only a handful of members, no instruments, and no place in school to practice.
When I first wanted to start Chinese Orchestra in SMU, everybody said it was impossible. But guess what? We made it!
I stood to run for president of Chao Vietnam. At first, not many friends supported me because they think that I look feminine, shy and quiet. However, I changed their mind.
I was the president of the SMU Myanmar Community Club, and I built a great team with my ESCO members. It was the toughest time of my life, yet the most fun.
I decided to continue my passion for hip-hop once I entered SMU. Even though many would argue that it's an extremely time-consuming process, it was perhaps the wisest choice I made in my life.
For this particular boring module, my crazy girlfriend said to make it fun by having a weekly dress code, so I was forced to buy clothes almost every week. It not only brightened up my wardrobe, but also showed me that a boring class can be something that you look forward to going every week when you have good friends. I love them. I remember queuing for all the freebies that Smoosa and Bondi would give out. I would always queue with my dance friends and we'd always be plotting the best ways to shorten our wait in line.
When I got my first rejection from a well-known company, I was very upset and wanted to cry. My project mate Gaia came over, put her arms around me and said very encouraging words. That's when I realized that although SMU is competitive, people still care for one another.
We now proceed to the presentation of undergraduate degrees. Dean Yeo and Professor Lee, please.
Andrea Lok Wan Ying. Enoch Ang Lihan, magna cum laude. Aisha Binte Ahmad Arif. Aoyong Yin Sin, cum laude. Beverly Ng Lin Yin. Justin Chan Jun Hao, cum laude. Francis Chan Wei Wen. Josephine Chi Fei, cum laude. Chen Xiaoying. Melanie Chu Yang Na, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Accountancy. Doreen Chia Ming Yi, cum laude, winner of the Rhodite Challenge competition, first prize. Chiang Wan Ting. Kenny Chung Wei Yao, summa cum laude. Chong Yi Mei. Carmen Chu Jie Zhen. Hannah Chua Pei Yin. Lynette Chua Yu Hui, cum laude. Chung Si Chi. Clarissa Tan Xuan Fen. Dahlia Ho Su Ping. David Yong Xiang Wei, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management. Denise Lo Li Ping. Eunice Chan Sui En, cum laude. Fazlina Binte Sapwan. Ganesh Bharath Ratnam. Verdine Gay Jia Mei, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management. Janessa Go Peiru. Ho Li Ling. Ho Zhen Hui, magna cum laude, winner of the Raja and Tan Prize for the top student in insolvency law. Jane Lim En Hui. Jerry Tan Chiu Lin. Jill Ann Ko Ying, cum laude. Zhu Xiaoyong. Kyati Raniwala. Sherilyn Ko Su Ling, cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Science in Economics. Hua Su Ai, cum laude. Hyo Zin Tet. Lau Chi Chong, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management, winner of the Raja and Tan Prize for the top graduating student. Lau Wenjin, summa cum laude, winner of the SMU Circle Award. Li Hui Min, cum laude. Mark Lee Kok Weng. Li Xuan Chi, cum laude. Emmanuel Benedict Li Wei Liang. Alison Yi Yiling. Amelia Liu Shu Chin, cum laude. Le King Tuan, cum laude. Li Ling Hui. Liu Hui Yan. Audrey Lim Rui Xuan, Lim Si Wei, Wilbur Lim Wee Hao, summa cum laude, winner of the Michael Huang Prize for the top student in international commercial arbitration. Lucas Lim Yu Sheng, magna cum laude, winner of the Raja and Tan Prize for the top student in insolvency law. Liu Zhisheng, cum laude. Kenneth Lo Kenji, cum laude. Lo Yen Ping. Lo Hong Chuan. Lo Xiaoling. Luo Linghui, cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Accountancy, winner of the Drew and Napier Prize for the top student in advocacy, runner-up. Mary Ann Shu Hui Chua, magna cum laude. Cheryl Ng Hui Ling. Samuel Ng Sheng Yu, summa cum laude, winner of the TSMP Law Corporation Prize for the Best Law Student in Ethics and Social Responsibility. Nur Amsani Yusli. Noiza Binte Adam Arif Ong, cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management. Nur Liana Binte Mohammed Sinwan, winner of the Drew and Napier Prize for the top student in advocacy, finalist. O Xuan Yuan, cum laude. Maybelline Ong Li Wen, cum laude, winner of the Raja and Tan Prize for the top student in shipping law and the TSMP Law Corporation Prize for the best law student in ethics and social responsibility. Ong Yuan Kun, magna cum laude, winner of the Rodite Challenge Competition Best Individual Presenter Prize and the Rodite Challenge Competition First Prize. Hui Hui Hien. Paul Yap Wan Fook. Claire Po Hui Jing, magna cum laude. Pravin Raj, son of Shanmugaraj. Priscilla Wee Jia Ling. Priscilla Wu Bao Yi. Kamarul Hisham bin Jailani, magna cum laude. Kwek Chen An, cum laude. Michael Quilindo Zhicheng, cum laude. Rajiv Rai, cum laude. Sarah Liana Binte Yazid, cum laude. Saw Sui Lin. Samantha C. Hui Jia. Nicholas Singh Sun Ming, summa cum laude. Shalini, daughter of Jayaraj. Shalini, daughter of Mogan. Simran Kaur Sandhu. Sonia Kumeng, cum laude. Sung Wen Yi, magna cum laude. Stephanie Yo Shu Wen. Charmaine Su Mei Chi. Chelsea Tan Ching Hui, cum laude. Tan Hui Shuang. Tan Li Bing, magna cum laude, winner of the Harry Elias Partnership LLP Prize for the top student in negotiation and mediation. Tan Suet Hui, cum laude. Clara Tan Tzu Jing. Anne Tae Sin Yi, cum laude, winner of Barlow, Lyde and Gilbert Prize for the top student in insurance law. Zhou Tae Yu Si, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management, winner of the Kwa Gyok Chu Top Law Student Award. Cheryl To Mei Jie, magna cum laude. Tai Zhenling, cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management. Vigneshwaran, son of Kumaran, magna cum laude. Vidya, daughter of Rajendra, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Business Management, winner of the Drew and Napier Prize for the top student in advocacy. Wang Ye, magna cum laude. Wang Li Ru, cum laude, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Science in Economics. Wang Yokshan, magna cum laude. Xie Jiayan, magna cum laude. Sheena Yo Shi Yun. Yvonne Tai Yilin, cum laude.
Thank you, Dean and Professor Lee. May we invite you to take your seats. Now I know this is for real. I finally graduated. My newly fellow minted graduates, please be seated. In accordance with the HO tradition dating back to the University of Bologna, let us now shift our tassel on our motherboard from right to left to signify our new status as graduates.
Let us do this together on the count of 3. Are you ready, Desiree?
Yes, everyone
ready? Ready?
1, 2, 3. Class of 2012, Each and every one of us has had a unique journey throughout these 4 to 5 years. No doubt, some versions have been more exciting than others. Next up, we salute our peer with the most splendid story.
Every year, a school valedictorian is chosen as the top student of the school based on the most outstanding academic, leadership, and co-curricular achievements. This top individual best epitomizes the qualities and values of the school brand. We now invite our Dean to present the DBS Valedictorian Award for the School of Law 2012. Professor Yeo, please. The Dean of Law will now present the DBS School of Law Valedictorian Award. The DBS School of Law Valedictorian for 2012 is Mr. Nathaniel Lim, who graduates summa cum laude with a double degree in Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Business Management. Thank you, Dean Yeo. Congratulations, Nathaniel. Please share your story with us.
Thanks, guys. The Honorable Justice Andrew Pang, there you are. President of SMU, Professor Arnold DeMeyer, Dean Professor Yeo, Mom, Dad, hello, esteemed professors, distinguished guests, and the graduating class of 2012. It is a terrible thing to give a law student only 3 minutes to speak. No one should be allowed to do that. After all, we are trained to say in 30 minutes what can be said in 3. But it is an even more challenging thing for me today to recapture the lives of all 131 special, unique, and talented individuals today. So I am greatly honored and humbled to speak on behalf of my class. I shall be brief and tell you 2 stories. One of a very important person, and one of a not so important person. One is of President Obama, and one is of me. I am the not so important person. I recently finished my training contract in a law firm in June. One day, my boss came to me and told me to find out whether a contingent, inchoate, floating charge could form good security over receivables. So I told my boss, no problem, I'll do that. And when he left the room, I turned to my friend and asked her, what in the world is an inchoate contingent floating charge? I had absolutely no idea what it was. And across the 6 months, these kind of things happened to me many, many times. So my point to you is that the knowledge you have now is drastically insufficient for what you need out there. But despite this, I want to encourage all of us and say that we'll find our own ways to survive out there. After all, you can eat breakfast, surf Facebook, chat on MSN, or WhatsApp, and listen to your professor all at the same time. What your professors take 12 weeks to teach, you master in 1 day, 1 night. 6 cups of coffee and 5 cans of Red Bull. Maybe we're going to mess up certain job assignments and botch up certain job interviews. But I'm confident that law school has taught us enough and that we are well prepared. So don't worry, you are so much more than you think you are. You can do it. My second story. One night, President Obama and his wife, Michelle, went for dinner at a casual restaurant. The owner of the restaurant asked whether he could speak to the First Lady in private, and after the guards checked her, they consented. After the conversation, President Obama asked Michelle what the conversation was about. Michelle told him that during their teenage years, they were madly in love. President Obama then said with a little smirk, I suppose if you had married him, you'd be the owner of this lovely restaurant. To which Michelle responded, no, darling, if I had married him, he would be the President of the United States. We are here only with the support of the friends and family who have walked beside us throughout this journey. And I'm greatly humbled as I am reminded, and we are reminded, that we wouldn't be here if not for them. For the friends who booked the GSRs and reminded us of our deadlines, who studied with us in the library and watched us fall asleep with our mouths wide open, for parents who told us to sleep more during week 14 and kept dinner on the table, and for everyone who supported us, we are eternally grateful for everything that you have done. On a personal note, Mommy, Daddy, Papa, Ma, thank you for raising me, for loving me, for teaching me, and for driving me around Singapore. Papa, 多謝你煮雞飯，你雞飯好好食。That's about the Cantonese I can manage. For my siblings, thank you for tolerating my nonsense and my continual shouting at home. Life is a lot more fun because of you. And for my friends who are here, thank you for always being there, for accepting me for who I am, for my idiosyncrasies and my lousy jokes. And for those whom I have offended carelessly one way or another, I humbly ask for your forgiveness. I'm sorry, and I'm still learning how to be a better person. In conclusion, as lawyers, we're not going to have a life, but hey, we're going to earn ridiculous amounts of money. So, with that, I want to encourage you to give back to society. The top 1% of the world owns 50% of the world's wealth, while the bottom 50% of the world owns 1% of the world's wealth. We can do so much more to help the less fortunate. So please, do your part and continue to give back to society. People like to end speeches with quotes from authoritative sources, so I'm going to do the same and end mine with one I found on Facebook, the authority of today. Someday, everything will make perfect sense. So for now, laugh at the confusion, smile through the tears, and keep reminding yourself that everything happens for a reason. To the class of 2012, it doesn't matter if you do not know what a contingent, inchoate floating charge is. You made it through law school, and that makes you awesome enough. So here's to the overnight nights in the library, the delight uncle who sells us food during breaks, the security guards that keep us safe, the cleaners which keep the school clean, the friends that made it happen, the girl or the boy that made it exciting, the awesome professors and deans for unfailing grace and faithfulness, and the wonderful memories that we've had from these 4 years. Thank you, and congratulations on our graduation.
There's just so many amazing people that I've met. Professors, instructors, classmates, and CCA mates.
My econs orientation camp group mates, as well as some of my closer SMU friends like Christine and Zitian.
My best buddies from the Office of Student Life, Eileen, Kelly, and Wansit.
Ben and everybody else from Bellary.
Well, my permanent classmate Satoshi. We met completely by chance because there was no one left for me to group with. But since then, we've done so many mods together that we don't even need to discuss who does which part.
In criminal law class, I made a very good friend, Vidya, who's going to graduate together with me after 5 long years.
My soccer friends, Juliana, Hui Ying, and Claudia.
All the dancers in Density. Then my instructor, Claudine, my OSL manager, as well as my Strats group friends.
My SMU CO members, Professor Tan Yu Guan, and OSL staff.
My sister, my senior Ngọc Anh, always watch over me. My friends, housemate, and staff from OSL.
Well, a special mention to my girlfriend Felicia and my dearest EMIX dance mates, Amanda, Beverly, Simin, Shufang, and Daniel.
My family in Laos, Amanda, and my best friend, Christopher.
I'm very fortunate to have 3 other SMU students, Jiang Hao, Wang Yang, and Wang Yang as my roommates.
My best friends from Chamber Choir, Amanda and Abigail, and my career counselor, Vasanti.
My best friends, Anna and Abby, and my CCA friends from Choir and SMU BE.
My dance mates, my accounting group mates, my strategy group mates, and Prof. Kat Yuan.
Well, my fellow EXCO members from SMU Aquathlon, Xander, Ashley, Ben, and Brandon, my girlfriend, Yiming.
I really can't thank my psychology and corporate communication professors enough. And over the years, I've worked with a few of the OSL staff as well who have taught me a lot. And I've made the greatest friends at SMU who made peer pressure a positive phrase for me.
My friends from Caderas Latinas, especially those on the 6 EXCO with me. We made it, guys!
Well, Desiree, now that we have graduated, I guess we will all be busy with the bar cause over the next few months.
Yes, but I wonder what our peers from other schools will be up to.
I'm really not sure what's ahead of me right now.
Oh, nothing much will change. We'll all still be dancing together forever.
I've been accepted into the JD program at SMU to study law, so I'll still be here for the next 3 years.
There will be different challenges, such as the bar exam and legal practice. But I'm not so worried because I've spent the last 5 years preparing for this.
I'll be starting work at Kutech Park Hospital soon, using analytics and IT to improve the patient experience.
Hopefully still dancing whilst working as an analyst.
This time next year, I'll be at DBS in the Management Associate program, but I'll find a way to keep dancing so that I don't get fat by coming back to Intensity or IDNTA every week.
Well, I hope to get into the banking industry, but I'll definitely return to SMU to dance with EMIX.
I would like to continue my passion for the arts and also see SMU CEO flourish.
I'll be working as a business development executive at a Singapore startup company.
I hope next year I can be sitting in one of the alumni sessions and talking to new SMU students about my SMU experiences.
I'll be starting work as a marketing management trainee at Unilever, but not before going on a grad trip to Turkey with some of my summer girlfriends.
I'll be working at Credit Suisse, private banking.
I'll join P&G and continue my passion for improving people's lives.
I'm going to do my master's in the UK, and after that, I'm hoping to find a job that will allow me to help people.
I'm not going to be an accountant. I'm going to manage a business. I'll be working in luxury retail for DFS.
Hopefully next time this year, I'll be really happy with my job and I'll keep in contact with all the friends I've made here.
Well, we may get a bit rounder, but I do believe that the bonds we have built will only get stronger because we'll miss each other more and more every day.
I'm thankful to have found a job in a well-known pharmaceutical company. It's hard to say what comes next, but I'm excited and looking forward to whatever's ahead.
Well, as we can see, everyone's got their grand plans and they're shooting off in different directions. We wish them all the best.
Yes, it's so exciting, but at the same time, a little bit sad. It just occurred to me that this may be the last time our entire cohort will be together in this story. After this, we're all off to our different careers and destinies in other tales.
Yes, I know I'll miss my friends and my professors. It won't be the same again after today.
So, although I know it's maudlin to say so, I'll miss you guys, and I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU. I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.
I'll miss you, SMU.